Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this Daily Hindu Analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the PIB videos come, so please do attend these PIB lessons also. We are discussing very important questions and issues the way yesterday I discussed the inflation issue and many questions regarding that. So important for the prelims examination, very helpful, and 2 days are left, so this revision is gonna be very important, and maybe one or two questions they may appear in the from these last 2-3 videos, so that's very important. So let's start the lesson. We will not waste our time. 29th of May it is. These are the numbers that you can call and you can ask for these pen drive courses, and here's the website address. All these courses are available at 60% off. Important courses and created by experts. Scientists give the thumbs up for Anthropocene epoch. You see, first we should know about the geological time scale. 4.6 billion years ago Earth started, and after that 4.55 million years ago from now, Moon was supposed to be separated from Earth. You see, these are theories. We don't know much about these things because it was so far behind in the time scale that only theories and these hypotheses, these are only available here. So 4.6 billion years ago when Earth starts, and later we categorize all these ages, like the first Hadean age was there, then Archean age came, then Proterozoic age came, and since this particular time, 500 million years ago from now on, this Phanerozoic started. Okay, so this Phanerozoic is the most important one for us, because all these eras like Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, Cenozoic era, these are the part of it, and right now the Cenozoic era is going on. So these are ages and these are eras. Eras are under the ages, and you see we all have hypotheses regarding when the first life started. It started in water, and water was also not there in the starting. It came later, and oxygen also came later. It was not there since the Earth's starting. So there are many theories, many evidences, but these evidences are only found in some areas on the Earth, and according to that we have actually labeled them into ages. So you can see here the ages are like Mississippian period, Peninsulan period, and Permian period. These are all the names of those places where some evidences were found. So important for us is that remember this categorization: Hadean age, Archean age, Proterozoic age, and these three combinedly are called Precambrian time. Precambrian age means because the Cambrian is the first period of Paleozoic era. So before Cambrian, this is Cambrian here. So before Cambrian, everything is Precambrian. So you must have heard about the Precambrian rocks and all. So this is all this particular time, that in these 4 billion years time, anywhere these Precambrian rocks may belong to. So you must have heard about the Tharwad rocks, the Rowleys and all these were there in these times, in these Precambrian times. So maybe they were there in the Proterozoic time, maybe Archean time. So according to that, the classification is also there, that Archean rocks are there, or the Hadean rocks are there. Moon rocks are mainly belonging to this particular time, Hadean age. Life started as a prokaryotic cell, then came the eukaryotes, and then came multicellular lives and all these things. So this is supposed to be started from here, and this age is going on, and till Paleozoic nothing much is known. Now later, all these specific animals of Chordata family, they start their lives from here, and their major ages, they start from here. You see, if you talk about Paleozoic era, then first was Cambrian period, then Ordovician period, then Silurian period, and Devonian period. Devonian was the time that is called as age of fishes. Means fishes, they dominated Earth at that time, and most of the area was covered under the water and these oceans, and fishes were there too much in amount. So their skeletons, their evidences, their fossils, they are mainly found from this age. So this is called Devonian age of fishes. Then came Mississippian period and Peninsulan, and the Permian period, the most important one later. Why this is important? Because the biggest event of mass extinction that happened in this Permian age, and more than 90% of all the species on the earth, whether they belong to non-chordates or the chordate families. So more than 90% of them, they were vanished from the earth. Okay, this was totally a phase of bombardment or some chaos in the names of tectonic shifting and all, and maximum of them, they were dead. Later, the age or the era that we call it, era that started, that was the Mesozoic era. And there are three important periods under the Mesozoic era. First is Triassic period, when dinosaurs, they dominated earth. Then Jurassic period, and then the Cretaceous period. So three periods of Mesozoic era. So many times UPSC has asked these questions, and this is the age of dinosaurs, and they belong to reptiles category. So reptiles are mainly these animals like snakes and these tortoise and all. Okay, and they are sneakers mainly, and these dinosaurs, they are belonging to same category, but they were huge animals. So this was the age of dinosaurs. Next comes the Cenozoic age at 65 million years ago, or 6.5 crores years back. This was the time when Himalayas started to rise, because Indian plate that hit the Eurasian mass. So due to these two continental masses of Indian plate and the Eurasian plate, when they hit against each other, that's why Himalayas rose, and there was no submergence of any plate. That's why it was a rising, not any kind of submergence. So this was the time of Pliocene epoch, the Paleocene epoch, because this is the Cenozoic era. These are eras, Cenozoic and then Mesozoic and Paleozoic. So these are important eras, and for which we have many evidences and we know a lot about. So you can see in the picture all these animals when they came, when they appeared, and the time is given according to that. Okay, now see, Paleocene was the first epoch, then came the Eocene epoch, then Oligocene epoch, then Miocene epoch, and then the Pliocene epoch last. So from Paleocene to Pliocene, this was the tertiary period. Okay, tertiary period. Later came the quaternary period after Pliocene. In the quaternary period, that is the last period up till now, and under it the first epoch was Pleistocene epoch, and that is mainly characterized with the repeated glaciation phases. The earth became snowball like earth, and many phases of ice ages that came repeatedly in this Pleistocene epoch, and that lasted till around 10,000 BCs. Okay, so Pleistocene ended with 10,000 BCs. You must have watched a movie, Hollywood movie, called 10,000 BC, and at that was the time when Pleistocene epoch ended, and then started the Holocene epoch, the epoch that is going on, Holocene epoch that is going on. So it started 10,000 BCs. So the important thing is that right now the Holocene epoch is going on, and it is under the quaternary period and mainly under the Cenozoic era. So that is going on. And important is that this is the age of mammals mainly, because you see all these animals are mammals, including humans. And more important thing is that now we are dominating the earth. We are changing a lot on this earth's ecosystems and all, and we are changing its demography, geography, everything. We are dominating species. Many species are getting extinct because of us. We are polluting the environment. So this is a dominating environment for humans, and study of humans is called anthropology. So this particular epoch should be characterized as Anthropocene. This is the important information. So they are now calling it Anthropocene. Scientists have been talking about them for the last 2 decades, and now officially they are gonna call it as Anthropocene. In 2000, the Nobel laureate Paul Crutzen and Eugene Stormer, these two important scientists, they called it first time that it should be the Anthropocene, because it is changing a lot. Although the Holocene would become very, very short, because it started just 10,000 years back, 10,000 or 11,000 years back, and this is the shortest time for any epoch. But we are changing a lot, that's why this should change, and that's the main issue. And they may ask you a question regarding that. There is a international geological congress also, and a international commission on stratigraphy also, which oversees the official geological time chart. So international commission on stratigraphy, that is important. So that is the issue. And Holocene epoch officially started 11,700 years ago, means around 10,000 BC was the time. So that's the issue, and it was a voting in the Anthropocene working group, and it was a 29-4, and they won this voting, and now they are calling it Anthropocene epoch. Epoch is the name that you should remember. Next, post Balakot Indian Air Force. It talks about many vulnerabilities, and mainly these are the airborne early warning and control systems. You see, the AWACS system, the Falcon AWACS system, we took it from Israel. And the second one is Netra. That was our indigenous one. DRDO developed that. And these two are the important airborne warning systems. Upon this this particular aircraft, you can see there is a particular system. That is the AWACS system. And that gives information regarding any incoming threat, that is the airborne threat, maybe some aircraft, maybe some missile, maybe anything that is coming through aerial way. So this system is very much important. And much more sensitive issue is that Pakistan has these systems more than us, and it was at advantage during the Balakot strike also. And you see, there was a lack also. Maybe people are not talking about that in the mainstream media. These things are not much open, and even the Air Force did not talk about that before the Balakot issue. But now they are saying that we need some remedial measures here. And AWACS system, the software defined radios and close-in weapon systems, these are immediate requirements. Okay, so AWACS, SDR, these are the immediate requirements. And the third Netra system we are gonna acquire from DRDO. Only two we have right now. And the Falcon systems, we are also ordering more in number now, because we need them more than ever. And Cabinet Committee on Security, CCS, that actually gives these clearances and all. So that's the most important thing. And you see, they are waiting for the Rafale issue also, and they are waiting for a long period of time for these light combat aircraft systems also. Recently, the LCA Tejas, that got the final operating clearance, FOC, and now it is going to be inducted into Indian Air Force. So it will start working. And you see the Tejas MK1, that is also completed, and MK2 they are developing, and very soon the third version would also be out within 4-5 years. So that is the announcement here. But you see, the IOC and FOC, they may also be asked here. IOC is the initial operating clearance, and FOC is the final operating clearance. And when these final operating clearance is given, then only any aircraft can be inducted into Air Force and all these battle systems and all. So that is the case here. So these are some sensitive issues, and everything is not going up to the mark. Many requirements are there, but we are talking very less about these issues, and these are very sensitive issues. So these are very important issues. Next, Malaysia to send back 450 tons of plastic waste. After China, Malaysia has decided that whatever it has imported, it has taken as plastic waste for its many uses, it will send it back, because these are fatal for the environment and the ecosystems. And mainly it is reaching up to the aquatic ecosystems and oceans and all, where all these aquatic animals, they are finding it very, very difficult to survive because of this plastic waste. Because the degradation does not happen, and it is broken into many smaller pieces. Nanoplastics are also bigger danger today. And you see, if we talk about the recent Geneva meeting, where the Stockholm Convention, the Rotterdam Convention, and the Basel Convention, in all these there were meetings of these COP conventions, and they decided to include in the Basel system the plastic as a hazardous waste. So it was an important inclusion which was not there in 1980s when it was started. So Geneva Convention was very, very important here. And India also pledged to phase out the use of plastic gradually. And one important announcement by India was that it has totally banned the single-use plastic import. So the import of single-use plastic is totally banned now, but they have not ended the use of it. So still it is in use, but the import is banned. So now Malaysia has decided regarding that, and all these informations will be very, very crucial for this year's prelims examination, because these are the highlights for the prelims this year. Now only one article is important here today, and that is by C. Rangarajan, the former economic advisor to the PMO, and he is talking about the big picture of the economy, and he's talking about jobs, he's talking about the numbers of the data that we have, and he's talking about the problems of corporate investment and the growth trajectory and the agrarian crisis and all these things. So he says that fast growing economy can generate surpluses needed to create jobs and sustain social safety nets. Means the fast growing economy is the biggest need today. So if we talk about the fast growing economy and we talk about the present numbers, then there is a mismatch, because the present numbers are very much ambiguous according to the writer, and he says that with controversial numbers we can never go towards a right trajectory. And as in the revised new base estimates also, there is a decline, because in 16-17 the growth was 8.2%, now it is close to 7% only. So we are going backwards here, and manufacturing sector is very much under stress, and NPA crisis is going on. So how they are going to tackle this issue? Now it is the biggest responsibility for the new government. And you see, the investment rate is declining. That is the most crucial issue. The gross fixed capital formation, GFCF. You see, this is staying close to 28%, around 28.5 was in 15-16, and in 18-19 it was 28.9%, and that's very much a sensitive number. Why? Because it was close to 36% in 2007 and 8, and after 12 and 13 it started declining, and it has reached up to 28.5% number, and that's really not good, because it should have been more than 40-45%, and this is going towards a decline. Where we needed a raise, it is going towards a decline, because if the capital formation would not be there, then there cannot be a great growth numbers, and if the economy will not experience good growth numbers, then certainly there would be no employment here. And several studies even by RBI also, they are talking about the corporate investment and some other investment numbers. It says that the data made available by banks and other financial institutions, and regarding that the capital expenditure sanctioned by them, it says that it used to be 2050 billion rupees in 14-15, and now it has declined up to 1487 billion rupees. Means there is a 600 million rupees a decline in these numbers, and that means we are not improving here. And mainly the power sector, that is taking a toll of it. 40% around investment is going towards the power sector, and maybe we have done good in the Subhagya scheme and all these power sector schemes and all, but you see the pure manufacturing, that is missing here. That needs a vital investment numbers, but that is having only a minuscule share here, and that's a cause of concern. We need to revive the investment here. The central government to GDP, the capital expenditure by the central government, and the ratio with the GDP is only 1.6%, and that is consistent for many years now, and that's a cause of concern. That should be moving towards a bigger number here, and it should be close to 5 to 10% numbers, but the capital expenditure is not that much. And you see, the need is that public sector units, they go hand in hand with the private investment and the private units, and a major investment program we need today. NPAs are growing, you see, they are more than 11%, and the situation and the problem is rising with increasing number of months, because it is not solved, and the interest is adding day by day. And here the absence of the term lending financial institution, you see these NBFCs and all, they are going with many problems, and only banks are left, and even the banks are very much restricted in these capabilities that they can give loans to all these bodies and all. So larger flow of long-term funds is extremely crucial today, and that is needed, but that is not being possible because only banks are available here, and they are giving both working capital and the long-term loans anyhow. But the issue of NPA is not getting solved, although the IBC and all, they are trying their best, but the crisis is very huge, and if this is not controlled very soon, then we may have major economic problems here. And you see, like before, where a particular writer suggested the same thing, here Angarajan says the same thing, that whatever is needed today, although it's not a good move, capital infusion in the banks is not a good move, because the taxpayers' money is going into banks, and all these people who have left India, leaving this NPA crisis back, that they will be supported here with this capital infusion. But you see, it's a drastic measure, and we need it. We need it in a dire sense today, because if we do not give capital to the banks, then this crisis is not going to be controlled, and we will have for sure major economic problems. These banks may collapse, and this infusion should be in one go. Okay, it should not be like that. Now we are giving 10,000 crore rupees and then we are giving 50,000 crore rupees. It should not be done like that. Lakhs of crores of rupees should be given at one go, so that there would be a clear picture, and then we will think about the next step. So these are immediate measures which are needed today, and this whole article is talking about the immediate measures. It is talking about the unemployment issue. It says that there are major unique problems. Even the Raghuram Rajan said that the numbers of the economic growth that they are showing, they are not matching with the employment numbers, because if this much is the growth, then employment should have been there. But there is the controversy of the data. So that's why it says that the only solution of the unemployment issue is the growth. If the growth is robust, if the growth is very high, more than 10%, then automatically there will be many jobs, because these manufacturing industries and all, which will be supported, and they will they will do all these productions and all, then they will need employees there. IT sector will need educated employees. The construction sector, that will need unskilled and labor intensive employment. So this would be a good situation. But before that, we need to tackle all these issues of investment, fundings, and good growth numbers. And first of the thing that is needed, that is the right data, so that we make right policies and we can get the clear picture here. Otherwise, with these ambiguous numbers, we can go nowhere. And here regarding the agrarian distress, because it is the primary sector and it is facing a lot of stress, monsoon is unpredictable, and the responsibility lies with the states that they make them available, all these fertilizers at affordable cost, all these technological instruments and all, and the consolidation of the land holding is also a big need today. So all these things should be done here. Otherwise, this primary sector, if this continues to be in a major distress, then we can never expect a good manufacturing sector and a good industrial sector, because that is dependent on the primary sector output. And here it is going through the major distress, the worst phase is going on. So we need to focus here. But you see, even in the Lok Sabha elections, they never talked about the agrarian distress and the farmer situation. Not even a single time they talked about this issue. So this is the unfortunate situation where the writer says that the non-economic areas, they also need to be discussed. Now about the IBC and the medium term measures, the reform measures that we are taking, like we took GST step, that was a good one and that was needed one. IBC, the bankruptcy code and the insolvency code, that was brought up in 2016, that was also needed, and they are getting some success here, and these are on a right path. Next, land reforms are extremely needed today, and these entrepreneurs and all these corporateers and all who are hoping in this issue. So land acquisition is a major issue, and that should be solved earliest as it is possible, and right compensation should be given to all these farmers. Labor reforms, they may wait, because it is not the right time to implement the labor reforms. Already our economy is facing a lot of stresses, and once it gets a higher growth path, then we can implement these labor reforms. Otherwise, today it is gonna bring a different problem in the economy. Next, as I told you, first they need to define the definition of the poor, and they need to identify them. Otherwise, all these generalized schemes like PM Kisan and all these Nyay, what they were talking about, and all these the money giving schemes, these will never be helpful. They are only stressing the economy, and we need to think about the economy because it is the basis. From here only all the support will come. Otherwise, if the economy is not strong, we can never think about a long-term support to these weaker sections. That is for sure. And next, about the non-economic factors. As I told you, when they never discussed about the agrarian crisis, the unemployment crisis, even in the campaigning of the Lok Sabha, then what you can expect from the political class? And that is the biggest problem. Today we need to bring that environment where no religious politics is there are no nonsensical issues going on, and taking the time on the prime time media channels and all these economic debates should be there, so that we can think about the progressive measures. And here all the experts, they are giving their opinions, they are cooperating here, otherwise they are also miffed. If they see these kind of issues going on the popular media, then they are also very much disturbed with these things, and there would not be any contribution from them. So these animal spirits are needed in the economy, and we need to go on a right path here. So this is all about the measures which we need right now. These are not the long-term measures. They may take to the long-term measures, but right now we need all these steps here. So this is the article was all about. Now a very important question that is asked normally: discretionary powers of the governor. You see, they are certainly larger than the president. If we take them as a whole, they are certainly larger than president. If we talk about the AMTM states in the Schedule 6, there also these autonomic district councils are there, and there also governor has a lot of discretion. It may make those rules and all for these elections, appointments and all, and a lot of discretionary powers are there. Even in the states, normal states, not in the union territories, only in the states, governor has a lot of discretionary power. Because you see, in the center, when the council of ministers headed by prime minister, it decides about something and it advises president about something, then president has to issue the same order there. Maybe out of a simple discretion, it may send it for a reconsideration, but the government, if sends it back, then president has to issue that. So president has no discretionary power there, but governor has. If governor is not accepting the advice of the chief minister and the council of ministers in the state, then it may keep it for the reserve for the president here. So it's a bigger discretionary power here. And in the appointments and all, it has some discretionary power, and in the case of elections and appointing the chief minister and all, like the president, it has same discretionary power there. So that is the issue. So first is a correct option here. Second, about the pardoning power. You see, the pardoning, commuting, reprieve, respite, all these issues, governor and the president, they have almost similar powers, but one is exception here. What is that exception? That is the pardoning power of the death sentence. Here governor has not the same power as president. Governor cannot pardon the death sentence. Pardoning means totally absolving the criminal. So governor cannot pardon the criminal. It may commute the sentence there, okay, but it cannot pardon the death sentence. That is one difference. Second difference is regarding the military tribunal and the court martial issues. There governor has no power. President has power there. President can pardon those criminals also. So second is wrong. Third is also wrong, because in Article 72 the president's pardoning powers are given. In Article 161 the governor's powers are given. So third is also wrong. So only one is the correct answer here, and you can see all the data, all the detail is written here in this text. So please go through the PDF once. These are very important questions. These are very important details, and many times UPSC has asked question on these issues. You see, in Article 163 also, this is given there that there would be chief minister and the council of ministers, and they will advise the governor. But in some cases where it is exercising its discretion, then they cannot do anything, and governor can reserve some decisions for the president's decision there, okay. And you see, the discretion of the governor, that would be final. That is also correct. And you see, because there is a particular bias towards center in our country, so that's why governor is a particular practical agent of the central government only. As we all know that officially it is not given, but practically it is said to be the agent of the central government. So there is a clear bias, and things are more in favor of central government. And even governor can advise the central government if the state government is not going according to the constitution and it is opposing every move by the central government, then it can advise for the president's rule also. So this is a relevant issue, because wherever there is no BJP government right now. So there are some issues. The issues are there in Rajasthan, issues are there in Paschim Bengal, issues are there in some other states also. So there are some tussles which are going on, and here role of governor is going to be very, very important. So that is the reason that they may ask you some questions regarding that. Okay, all these issues of the discretionary power of the governor, these are given here, and you can read that point wise. And regarding the appointments also, these are the appointments done by governor of a state. He is a constitutional head of the state. And district judges, their appointments are also done by the governor according to Article 233, because high courts and Supreme Court judges, they are appointed by president only and through the collegium system, but here they are appointed by governor. And regarding the president's rule issue according to Article 356, please go through all the details. We do not have that much time to discuss that in much depth because it's a huge issue and many provisions are there. So please go through that before appearing in the prelims examination. I'm telling you, many questions you will find from these sections here. Okay, Article 72, as I told you, for the president, 161 is for the governor's pardoning power. And this absolute pardoning power and this particular jurisprudence and the philosophy of the pardoning power, these years the questions in the prelims, they are also very much philosophical from the polity section. So please read about this issue also. Otherwise they may ask you a question and you will be answerless in the examination hall, because for the last 2 years they have been asking these particular philosophy based questions. Okay, so these are going to be very important. And the difference of the court martial issue and the pardoning of the death sentence issue, as I told you, governor has not those powers. Next question. These are some important questions, and I'm providing you the PDF here. All the detail and the answers, everything is given here. It's a huge PDF, so please go through that. And it is regarding some international issues, agencies, their particular initiatives or programs, the standing of India and India's stance, and the headquarters there in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum. It was an important speech 1.5 years back by the president of by the Prime Minister of India. So many issues will be relevant this year also, and they may ask you many questions here. And question is also there regarding some initiative like a global education initiative, water initiative, and some agencies they are working. So please go through all of them. Some reports which are there by World Economic Forum, they are going to be important, because every year they ask you about one report or one publication, that which agency or which particular body is issuing these reports or these publications. So one or two questions are there regarding that. So this data is also given here, and other schemes are there regarding this economy topic. So please go through all of them. Okay, so thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sani. Many pages are there. Please go through all of them. Thanks.